Well, good afternoon and welcome to the West Ham Voice. Thank you for joining me. It's the draw and we're in Europe proper, Europa Conference League proper after our playoff against Viborg, winning 6-1 on aggregates. And we're now with the big boys. And I'll tell you something, when looking through the teams that are actually in the draw and looking at some of the stadiums that might be available to us, it's actually not that bad. A lot of people call it the Farmers League and all that sort of rubbish. But I'll tell you something. There's some very, very good teams in this draw. And there's some very nice stadiums to go to on this latest European tour. Now, thankfully, I've got a mate that's come on because I thought I was going to do this all by myself. And it was going to be rather daunting because I've got to speak to you for half an hour until uefa get their shit together and actually get online, because they're not actually going to do this till 1:30. So I'm going to bring him on and say hello. And it's someone you know already. Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm quite excited, actually, because I did a bit of research on the 32 teams that are left. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them at all, but there's some exciting fixtures to be had.
Yeah, I did see a bit of it. Obviously, the big clubs are all in pot one. Obviously, so we'll avoid them. But there are still some good games in there. Obviously, I see Hearts obviously dropped out, didn't they? They didn't get through in the Europa, so that's a Scottish tie we could potentially get.
Yeah.
I tweeted out earlier. I want Shamrock Rovers because my granddad's Irish, so it'd be nice to have a trip out to Ireland. Yeah, it'd be quite nice. I mean, it's just outside of Dublin, isn't it, where they play? So that might be a nice one.
Should we go through the teams then and see what teams are in the pot? So pot one is where we are, and as you quite rightly pointed out, Villarreal, we know they're a good team. Slavia Prague, interesting. Ghent. I mean, Basel. I mean, some of these teams are to be reckoned with, aren't they? But if once we sort of get to the latter stages, hopefully if we get through, we might bump into one or two of these teams. And I mean, would you be worried with any of them? Maybe Villarreal is the top.
Villarreal are the one to look at, aren't they? Like they're a good team. I don't know about the rest. I know AZ used to be a pretty big team a few years ago. I don't know where they're at. I don't really keep up with Dutch football as much as I used to. Slavia Prague. I think Slavia Prague, they're going to be one that no one's going to want because the final's in Prague.
The final's in Prague, exactly. Yeah,
so I just think there's an extra incentive for them. Ghent are a big club. I know Basak here. Didn't they spend a load of money a few years ago? And they had a bunch of vets, didn't they? And they won the league and whatnot. I don't know what they're doing at the minute, but
it's interesting because any team in Turkey, when you go there, the atmosphere is quite it's massive, isn't it? So you can imagine we'll get a very a hostile welcome. This is if we get through, of course, and of course if these teams get through. But let's have a look at.
You've got the teams dropping down.
You do have teams.
You do have that
down,
as well. Yeah. So the teams that finished third drop down. So
absolutely,
you've got that to worry about.
So let's look at some of the teams that we will face in pot two. We've got teams like Cluj. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about these teams. I haven't got that much information about them, but a little bit of background. But I think the third team down used to be called Steaua. They've now changed. It's now Steaua Bucharest.
They won the Champions League, didn't they? In the 80s?
In some time in the past, yeah.
In their former name or whatever.
And then Fiorentina's not a bad team. If we draw them, and Cologne, I don't know much about Cologne, but I think
any German team's tricky. It's a good standard of football in Germany, so I think any German team is going to be tricky.
Yeah. And then we've got an Israeli team, Hapoel, and then a really, really top football team, that should be reckoned with, a top Cypriot team in in Apollon Limassol. They won their league last season, so they must be pretty good. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what they're like.
So is that where the coefficient is that they go in here, or did they have a chance at a Champions League, Europa League?
I don't know. I know there's a number of teams that have dropped out, and I think Limassol might be one of them that were in the qualifiers for the Europa League. and then
Right.
they dropped down. There's 10 teams that dropped out. I do have a list somewhere, so I'll probably get to that in a minute. And then Slovan Bratislava, I don't honestly know much about them either, mates. But then we move on to pot three. I think the only team that you would sort of, I mean, you mentioned Hearts and you mentioned Shamrock Rovers, but I guess the only team there or the only two teams there that you might want to look out for, and surprising that they are quite low on their coefficient, maybe is Nice and Anderlecht.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised both of them are in there in that pot, especially Nice, because like the French league, isn't that like fourth best league in like coefficient wise? Isn't that like ranked fourth league in Europe? So yeah, I'm surprised they're in pot three.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess those two teams to be looked out for. Austria Vienna, I think they're the poor cousins of Rapid, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not that they like me to say that, but and then as you said, there's a Scottish visit there and a probable Irish visit there. It's quite likely. It's quite likely that we could draw one of those two teams. And then of course the last pot is Dnipro. I've got to just correct myself there. Dnipro won now. Dnipro with that badge there, I forgot to update it, is a team that went bust or something a couple of seasons ago, and they've been reborn. They're a Ukrainian team, and they're now Dnipro 1. But then we've got a couple of Scandinavian teams there. Dujag. Go on, mate. You pronounce it. You're much better than I do.
I think it's pronounced Jagardens.
Gardens, there you go, and Silkeborg as well. And then the others are,
there's teams in there I've never heard of. I'm going to be really honest. The team at the bottom, Balkani, I've never heard of them.
No, well, the last two teams there, RFS and Balkani, I think whoever manages to get a ticket for those games is going to be blessed, because I think I'm going to show you some photos in a minute. But I think Balkani play in like a bit like Hackney Marshes, where you've got a number of pitches spread out, and they're using one as their stadium, and apparently it holds about 1,500 people, something like that.
Probably won't even be an away allowance.
There might be 5 people or something like that. But let's get on to how we got there, mate, because obviously we played our game last night. Did you manage to get to watch it at all?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
What did you make of the game?
I thought it was all right, mate. I thought first, the trouble with it was, I think we had that 3-1 advantage going into the game. And so we didn't need to come out in that first half, and we didn't need to start fast, did we? I did think we lacked a bit of intensity in the first half, but I was impressed with some of the link-up play. Really impressed with some of the link-up play. Skamaka, Cornet, Ben Rama looked really good as a free. I'm really surprised at how well Skamaka and Cornet kind of read each other already as well.
Yeah, they're doing well between each other, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm already signed on with Skamaka. The work he does in the air, he finds players. It's not just a case of a leap and a head. He will find someone. Our second goal, the head into Cornet, and then a beautiful pass through to Ben Rama. I just feel the link up. We looked better in the second half, but I think it was one of them games, Stel, where it's just we didn't have to do a lot. We didn't need to really get out of second gear.
But I think it was important to put in I think given what happened against Brighton at the weekend, I think if nothing else, we just needed to put a performance together to show some consistency and cohesion. But of course, the question's going to be who is actually going to play on Sunday, because you've just mentioned Skamaka and he looked really good. Let's not deny it. I mean, he looked really good.
His goal is what we've been screaming out for: a striker that moves in the box. If you go back and watch his goal, he's kind of stood behind the defender at a point, and he knows that ball's coming, and so he changes his run and his position, gets in front, and it's in the back of the net. And he had a couple of chances. He had a shot from distance. He had a header that went wide. Like he wants the ball. I think that's what I like about him as well. We'll drop in. He wants the ball at feet. He wants to try and get people into play, and he ain't scared to have a go. I love that. He's not scared to just have a go.
And I'm speculating. He was taken off with a number of other substitutions around about the 63rd minute or something like that. And I was asking myself, is he coming off because he's going to be kept fresh for Sunday, or is he coming off to give Antonio a run out so that Antonio's ready for Sunday?
I don't know. I've got a feeling. Oh, God, I'll probably be eating my words now, but I just got a feeling he took him off because he's going to play him. I think he might play him at the
Well,
weekend.
the other players he took off. He took Ben Rama and Souček off, and you kind of know that he has taken those two players off because he wants to start. He probably does want to start those two on Sunday, and I've got a feeling the same as you. I'm kind of really hoping that Moyes goes with the courage of his convictions. And I mean, 2 in 2 games. Okay, people will argue that it's against lower level opposition, but it's what you said, is his movement and it's a link-up play, and the clever way he went past that defender for the goal. As you said, he was kind of lurking behind. He knew when to move forward, didn't he, to get ahead of the player.
And I don't think you should be dropping players that are scoring goals as well still, because it does so much for their confidence. If he goes in, that's 2 from 2 starts. He hasn't really been able to impact games as much as he probably wants off the bench. But if you start him, like I was saying it to the lads at Brighton, what is the harm in starting him? If it doesn't work after 60 minutes, to make the change then. But you can't keep sitting them on the bench and hoping that eventually their fitness will be where you want it. You've got to start them, especially he keeps saying that the team's stale. Well, he's going to remain stale unless you start giving these new signings a chance.
And here's the thing. He's already kind of admitted that Scamacca's ready. He said that, what was it, before the second game, I think. He kind of said he's ready, but he kind of alluded to, well, he might be ready, but I might not be, which is such a Moyes thing to say, isn't it? And it's a strange one, because you kind of look at the way Scamacca played, and I don't want to take anything away from Antonio. We know what sort of player Antonio's been for us over the years. But you're absolutely right, mate. This is what we've been crying out for, isn't it? We've been crying out for a striker who not only can score, because that's what they're there to do, but also the link-up play, the movement, the part. He's got great part. I mean, when he heads the ball, as you've just said, he heads it with a purpose. He's heading it because it's going to go to somebody.
Yeah. And I'm really surprised at how the players are reading it. We've had strikers in the past. Andy Carroll was a really good example. Andy Carroll was a very dominant player in the air, but rarely did he have players running on beyond him, whereas Scamacca seems to have that. They've obviously highlighted the fact that that's an attribute of his, and we've got to make the most of it. So he has got players running on,
and it's a different game plan, isn't it? It's a different game. Some people may call it, it's hoof it up and hope for the best, but this isn't hoofing it up and hoping for the best. This is kind of, getting that player in position to, as you said, laying it on, because the goals we scored, they were on, on the ground, weren't they? But probably assisted. Well, one of them assisted with Scamacca, like you said, the Ben Rama goal being scored with Scamacca heading it off and laying it off, etc. So it's a different style, isn't it? And
I just feel like if you look at Scamacca's strengths and you look at what Antonio can bring to the team, we're at a point now where Antonio's strengths are to impact the game off the bench. I think if you look at Antonio, will give you 20 solid minutes. If you ask him to play 90, he tires, because it's just the way his game is, because he will tirelessly run the channels. And I just don't think he can do it for 90 minutes. So for me, he would be a far better impact player now. Antonio, say it's 1-1, you're chasing the game, and then that would scare defenders. You've just played like 70-75 minutes, and then you're bringing on a fresh Antonio to kind of run the channels, and we know how strong he is. And all right, he's got feet the shape of 50p's at times, but I personally think Antonio's crossing and passing is better than he's shooting anyway. So it's nice, it'd be nice to see him sort of employed as a winger. He's never going to play both. Not unless he gets another striker.
Maybe not necessarily start them both, but do you think maybe throughout a game? I mean, he kind of dabbled with it in the Brighton game, but they weren't on long enough at the same, on the pitch at the same time. Because I think he brought Scamacca on, and he kept Antonio on, and then after a few minutes, he
then
took
he gave up.
Antonio off because I think he realised, oh shit, I've got 2 strikers on the pitch. What have I done?
No, I feel like Moyes would just be too scared one of them would get injured, and then you're down to one striker, and not unless he goes and gets another one, which you just never know, do you?
Well, we're waiting for obviously a deal that has been talked about the last couple of days, the Paqueta deal, and we keep hearing conflicting stories because just to give you an update on that, apparently a third bid has gone in, and
it's the final bid from what I've read,
and it's the final bid, and it's significant. It's over £50 million.
Yeah,
I mean, this is how much we want the player. And I won't lie to you, mate. I've got to be honest. I've got a good feeling about it because apparently terms have been agreed with the player. And it's now just a matter of what the agent and what Leon.
He apparently posted a photo on his Instagram in a plane with London.
Did he? I didn't see that. You see, I've been busy putting this together.
Yeah. So
I think it's going to happen. I actually genuinely do think, and ironically, I keep asking, does that mean we're after 2 players? We're after Vanaken as well. And
I think that'll be the last. I think it'll be the last money signing.
I think they might both come in
because that's 170 million. If we're paying what is being reported
so far, if we pay the 51 million for Paqueta, that would give us a net spend of 174 million pounds.
Jesus Christ, so much money.
174 million pounds. And if we do go all out and get Vanaken in as well, which is another 15 million, that's 186. This is West Ham United we're talking about. That would be 186 million pound net spend.
It's funny actually. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was saying that we were all so against the Super League, but he said when you look at what Premier League clubs spend, he said you've got mid-table clubs dropping 70 million on a striker. He said it's already the Super League. If you actually think about it, he said the Premier League has got so much spending power compared to everybody else.
Yeah,
it is mad when you think
it is mad.
Go and drop that on a window, and we're like a top 6 club. We're trying to be a top 6 club kind of thing. It is crazy.
The expectation is going to be extreme, isn't it? If this comes off.
But if they buy this player, this is the Payet he wants. And he was saying we need more Payets. This is that player. He's a
Payet plus, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, at 24 years of age, or has he just turned? He's about to turn 25, I think, in the next day or two. I mean, the deal apparently is going to be a 5-year deal with an additional 2-year option. Like I said, it's looking around the 50 million mark.
This is one of them signings, though. If it goes well, and things go wrong for us, though, that's a player with high sell-on. So it's one of those transfers that's kind of like you've spent a lot of money straight up off the bat, but he's one of those players that you could potentially get a lot of money for in the future.
Yeah.
Should his head get turned. It happens to a lot of footballers, doesn't it, these days? Like, look at the situation with bloody Wesley Fofana. All my Leicester mates are absolutely, having a meltdown over that at the minute because of, their heads get turned by bigger clubs, don't they? So.
And that's why, though, you put them on a big contract, because because apparently there's going to be a sell-on fee not from Lyon, but Milan put a sell-on fee of 15% on the player.
Yeah, so this is why Lyon upped it. This is why Lyon have tried to get the most out of it because they've got to pay 15%.
Them, yeah. So just a quick roundup with that. Milan bought the player for 35 million. They ended up selling him a year and a half later for 20 million. So a 15 million loss. So a 15% sell-on fee on say 50 million is going to be 7.5, 8 million pounds, something like that. That Milan will get, which will kind of go towards making up the 35 million and the 20 million that they spent. They recouped 20 already. So yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. That's why it looks like Lyon want to get as much out of this as possible, and West Ham are willing to have our pants pulled down and do the deal.
Yeah. Jeez. It is mad. It is mad.
Right.
To think we're spending that money is just, I can't get my head around it.
Let's go back. Let's just finish off with the game because just before half time, Areola, mate, he's another signing that. I mean, where are you with the Fabianski Areola debate?
It's a tough one though, still, isn't it? Because Fab's been trusted for as long as he's kind of come to the club. For the first time in a long time, we see mistakes creep in, didn't we? Last season, and he's only got a year to go. I hope it's not sentiment that he keeps getting. He's number one. But then you look at he was very good against Forest, weren't he, Fab? To be fair to him.
Yeah, he was.
He weren't terrible against Brighton, but my issue is just his distribution, and he's not quick enough. He's not quick enough out off the line. Whereas Areola, I think Areola's a better shot stopper. I think we're yet to see I think we're yet to see what Areola can really do, because he's not. I don't think he's ever really been that tested.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond just him being a good shot stopper. I think his distribution's a lot better, and he's as much as we've Fabian. It's not that we just want to discard all these players that have done well for us, but Areola seems to command his 18-yard box more, and his distribution, people have got to say, we've
got to transition eventually. Like Fab's 37, isn't he? In the last year of his deal, and we've just bought a young goalkeeper to replace him. So, you've got to transition eventually. Obviously, he's going to get the European games by the looks of things, but how long is it going to be before we see him, playing for the first team in the Premier League?
Well, this is it. I speculated last season that he would be brought in slowly, and I suggested that he would end up being our number one keeper by the end of last season, and I was completely wrong there. And I'm speculating the same thing again now. But I think you're right. I think Moyes is a creature of habit, isn't he? And he sticks with he's very loyal to players, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that with Souček. He's been completely out of form. And all right, to be fair to Souček, he played well last night, and I won't take that away from him. I'm not going to just slander a player for the sake of it, but yeah, he's been poor, hasn't he? Souček. He was non-existent against Brighton. I don't know if I did a bit of Steve was talking to me about something like, I wonder what Souček actually does, like in a game. I wonder if there's anything we can look at. And I was just being nosy on the way home, and he completed 10 of 19 passes against Brighton. And that's the engine room of your team. And he only attempted 19 passes, and then to only complete 10 of them, that's pretty poor.
Do you think I'm not going to try and make excuses for him, but do you think it's people are speculating that it's not a happy camp at the moment. We know Souček wanted a pay rise and it didn't happen. And I mean, is that the sort of thing that puts a player off? Or is that a lame excuse?
I just don't think it's any surprise that we've seen Souček's form fall off the minute that Rice went box to box.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to sound like I'm bad mouthing Rice. He's an incredible footballer, but we've tried to. I think Moyes tries to accommodate Rice a bit too much because he realises how important he is and he doesn't want to lose him. So it's like, forget Rice, give Rice what he wants. Then he might stick about longer, but at the same time, it's detriment to the team because we've all noticed it. The first season they played together, Rice sat, Souček was the one that kind of bombed forward the late runs into the box, and it worked. And then since they've changed and Rice has started to be given more freedom in the midfield, Souček's game's kind of fallen to pieces. And then I know, like last night, no disrespect to Viborg, they're lesser opposition, so you would expect him to be a bit more dominant. But it's amazing that last night he had a far better game when he kind of went back to that role that suits him. Lanzini next to him was bloody useless, but but he played well. So
and Kent's made a comment really related to Rice, about all these signings in preparation for Rice's departure. I think we know that, don't we? I think
I think most of the fan base must be signed on to that, surely.
Yeah,
unless we get Champions League. I've said it for a long time. Unless we do the unthinkable and we qualify for the Champions League in the next this season, I would imagine it's got to be this season, but at a stretch, the next 2 seasons, then yeah, I think he'll go. But
Yeah,
he's only going to go. I do genuinely think he's only going to go if the club get the money they want.
they want. And Nigel, you're meant to be on with us, and the draw starts in 2 minutes, so we're gonna go on to that in a minute. But when you look at signings like Skamaka and Paqueta, Declan might be going, "Oh, hang on a minute here."
That's the ambition the club's got to show to keep a player like Declan around, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
And what I like about the signings is they're younger, but they're not so young that they're still raw. They're all 24, 25, around that age. And I like that because they're seasoned enough that they should be able to come in and kind of, just get on with it. And they're players that have been playing at a high level as well. See, where I think we've gone slightly wrong in the window is I think we aimed too high at the beginning. We were trying to prize players from Champions League clubs, when really we should have been
without
trying
being
to,
able to offer them.
and we
Yeah,
couldn't really offer them that because if you've got the chance to play Champions League football or Europa Conference League football, you're going to go Champions League every time, aren't you? And if there's
yeah,
other Champions League clubs, like Kostic is a really good example. He could have stayed at Frankfurt and played Champions League with them. He's moved to Juve and he's still getting Champions League football. So he was never going to come to us, and and a bit more money. So he was never really, I don't really think that was ever truly on because he would have been, dropping down a level, and he's 29. So you don't know how long he's got left to really be able to do it, do you?
Right, it's about to go live. I'm waiting for it to sort of come up. I don't know if you're watching it as well, mate, on the UEFA channel.
Yes.
But the minute it goes live, we'll talk about it. But I've got a few seconds to talk through how the draw's going to happen. So here we go. 32 clubs seeded into 4 groups of 8 in accordance with their coefficient rankings, which was established at the beginning of the season. The teams will be drawn into 8 groups of 4, each containing 1 team from each seeding pot. So we're in pot 1. Clubs from the same association cannot be drawn against each other, but that doesn't apply to us. And further restrictions will be announced before the draw. And the further restrictions, my understanding is, because of certain conflicts in Europe, etc., certain clubs won't be playing against each other. Oh, there it is. Let me just turn that down. Sorry about that. So, and that will be explained as to what those further restrictions will be. So, we're in pot 1. And then why will some, and this is the bit that kind of, some clubs will be paired. Now, I don't know if you read this, mate, and understood it, because I've read it a couple of times and I'm not so sure, but bear with me. To ensure that paired clubs from the same country, including those playing in the UEFA Europa League, have different kickoff times, the 8 groups will be distinguished by colour. A to D will be red and E to H will be blue. When a paired club is drawn, for example, one in the red group, the other paired club will be automatically drawn and assigned to a blue group.
What?
Pairings will be
what?
So we're likely to be paired with another team or teams within the same sort of.
Why have they made it so complicated? Why can't they just put numbers on balls and draw them out and put them in groups?
And draw them out. Exactly. So it started. They're doing a bit of prequel now, but it started. And what happens next? The group stage is played on Thursday from the 8th of September to the 3rd of November. On the same night as UEFA Europa League games, kicking off at 6:45 and 9 o'clock. Group winners will advance directly to the last 16, and group runners-up will progress to the knockout round playoffs, where they will face 8 teams transferring from the Europa League, having finished 3rd in their group. So, we may know who's coming up in this group stage. We will have no idea.
So it essentially works the same as last year. Win your group and you get that rest. You haven't got to play 2 additional games.
Yeah.
Whereas if you finish second, you face the chance of having to play the Europa League team.
Yeah.
Which could be tricky.
which could be tricky. So these are the group stages. So it all kicks off on the 8th of September, all the way through to the 3rd of November, just before the World Cup starts. And then thereafter, knockout round playoffs. If for those teams unfortunate to be in the playoffs, we'll play on the 7th of. The draw will be on the 7th of November. And then the round of 16 from the 24th of February, so after the Christmas break, after World Cup, etc., will kick off on the 24th of Feb. Quarterfinals and semi-finals from the 17th, and all draws starts at 2:00 on those dates. Sorry,
Right.
those aren't they're
draw dates.
draw dates. They're draw dates. Sorry. Knockout phase. Knockout round playoffs, 16th and 23rd of February. The round of 16 from the 9th to the 16th of March. Quarterfinals, 13th to 20th of April. Semi-finals, 11th and 18th of May. My birthday again is going to be, I predicted we'd be going to the final on the 18th last year, so I'm not going to bloody well predict anything this time.
Well,
and then
so the thing is, the final's on the 7th. My birthday's the 5th. So if we make it to the final, mate, I'm having a week in Prague, I think.
I think we will, even if we don't get tickets.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to be a quick rundown because they're still sort of showing last year and all that sort of stuff. So here's a real quick rundown of the teams that I'm not including the Pop 1. This is from Pop 2 onwards. So Club Cluj from Romania, founded in 1907. Their capacity stadium of 22,198, and they were the league winners of the Romanian league last season. They got a coefficient ranking of 19,500. Mold from Norway. They've got a capacity of 11,249, and they were league runners up last season. FCSB, formerly Steaua Bucharest, massive. They've got a beautiful stadium, mate.
Jesus.
Honestly, when I was looking at the link ups last night, I was like, fuck me, what an amazing stadium they've got. Over 55,000 capacity, and they were the league runners up last season. Fiorentina, that a lot of people want. Nice scenery there, no roof, boiling hot, I bet, in the middle of summer. Capacity of 43,000, coefficient ranking of 15,380. Köln in Germany, they got a 50,000 seater stadium. See, this is what started to get me excited, because I'm looking at the capacity of some of the stadiums, and they're massive, they're huge for some of the teams that we may get. Hapoel in Israel, they're going to start as soon as they start the draw. I'll stop talking about these.
I've got my eye on it anyway, mate.
You got it as well. Okay, mate. So Hapoel in Israel, they were league runners up last season and Super Cup winners, and they got a capacity of 16,000. Apollon Limassol, look at that stadium, isn't it class? In Cyprus, capacity of 13,000, just over 13,000. They were the champions of their league last season. Slavan Bratislava, capacity of 22. That's a nice stadium as well. 22.
Do you know what? I've been to Bratislava as well.
Have you?
It would actually be decent. It'd actually be a very good away day there.
So yeah, Slovakia. Yeah, it would be quite a nice day out. Quite a nice long weekend out. League winners and Slovak Cup winners last season. Nice, of course, 36,000 capacity. They were the Coupe de France runners-up. I'm guessing that's why it's either through the league or for being in their cup competitions, right? There's someone coming out. I should know who it is, but I don't. So they're about to do the draw in a minute. Anderlecht, of course, 22,500 seats capacity stadium in Belgium. Be a team to look out for. And then we start looking at one or two teams that
5,000.
Žalgiris of Lithuania, founded in 1947, a capacity of just over 5,000. They were the league winners and cup winners. Sorry, mate.
Best hope it ain't raining. Ain't covered. Look at that.
There's better to come. Austria Vienna, 17,500 capacity stadium. Heart of Midlothian, as you would know, in Tynecastle Park, Edinburgh, just under 20,000. They were Scottish Cup runners-up last season. I'm trying to keep an eye on 3 different screens, so do forgive me. Shamrock Rovers, a capacity of 8,000. They were the league winners last season. This stadium is absolutely stunning from the outside. Absolutely stunning. Sivasspor of Turkey, 27,500 capacity stadium. They were the Turkish Cup winners last season. Vaduz of Liechtenstein, capacity 7,500 seated, just under 6,000. They were the Cup winners last season. This is Dnipro 1 or from Ukraine. Now I don't know where they're going to play because clearly I don't think we can play at that stadium. But
football started again. The season has started again
in Ukraine
in
itself.
Ukraine. Yeah, whether or not we would be able to go, I don't know. But I know the football has started again.
Okay. So they got another lovely stadium, 31,000 capacity. Lech Poznan this stadium is also absolutely stunning stadium from the outside. Capacity of over 43,000. They were the league winners, Polish and Cup and Polish Super Cup runners up. Slovako of the Czech Republic, capacity of 8,100, and they were the Czech Cup winners last season. Silkeborg of Denmark, seated 6,000, but overall capacity of 10,000. Trying to keep my eye on the screen as well. They came third in their league, so I'm guessing that's probably why they've qualified. Djurgårdens of Sweden, another beautiful stadium of 30,000 capacity.
I like Sweden as well.
Pjunik of Armenia, capacity of 14,000. They were the league winners last season. And here we go.
Good luck getting a ticket to there.
Just turn up, mate, because you're going to get a view. Just turn up. Rigas FS of Latvia. Literally, they play in a sports centre, sport park.
Makes you wonder how it passes UEFA's
apparently it passed.
rankings.
Apparently it passed. I don't know how, but apparently it passed. A capacity of 2,900, of which 2,300. You wouldn't think there's 2,300 seats there, so they must put extra seats in when there's a game, plus another 660 capacity. And finally,
Jesus,
Balkany of Kosovo. It says 1,500 seated, standing unknown, because look at all that open space around it. I think
just go and stand up the top of the hill and just watch the game.
That you can watch the game at. So they looks like they're about to start. I'm going to try and turn the sound up a little bit. I don't know can you hear that in the background? No, that's good. Okay. They're still talking through. What do you hope for, mate? I mean, what's your ambition? What do you want to get a couple of really decent big teams? Do you want to just go for the minnows and try and smash them out the park?
I think we'll avoid anyone too big anyway, won't we? There are some teams in there to obviously we shouldn't discredit any of the teams because anything can happen in cup football, as we know. But I'd like to be able to navigate the group easily, get to the knockout phases. I really want to win this because I really think that we've got a good chance. I really do. I know it depends on who drops down from the Europa League, because there could be some big teams that drop out of that, because it can happen. Roma are a massive club and they won this last year.
Yeah,
that's how you got to look at it. And for me, mate, it's the same as last season when we were drawing the Europa League. I said to you, I just want to see us win something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
If we got an easy group and it meant we could, navigate the group stage, without too much trouble, I'd absolutely take it. But this is West Ham. If we got an easy group, we'd make it hard for ourselves. It's just the way we are.
Yeah, I want to win this. I know a lot of people are saying it's a distraction. People aren't interested in it, etc. And we should be focusing on the. I mean, a lot of people saw what Spurs did last season, where they basically, they kissed this competition goodbye, and they went straight for the league, and it worked for them. They got into the Champions League, and one could argue that Someone's saying Paqueta deal agreed, so it looks like we might be getting news on that any moment soon. But yeah, a lot of people are suggesting we should do the same thing, but that's quite a gamble, isn't it? Because at the very least, with the transition going on, with 8 or maybe even 9 players coming in, we're transitioning, and getting that sort of fluidity in the league might be a bit difficult. So surely a cup competition, even like this, is something that we should really be aiming for, no?
I think the managers have got different mentalities as well. Conte's won. He's won it all, and he probably looked at it and thought, right, I really need to sort the league form out. And he probably looked at the team and thought, yeah, I can get these in the Champions League, and then we can do that next year. So I don't know. You don't know what his thought process was, do you? Really?
Yeah.
So, whereas has Moyes won anything as a manager?
No.
I don't think he has, has he? So for Moyes, this is like a serious competition for him to finally, win something.
Yeah, agreed.
So
Agreed.
I say you got to look at it, and we're very much a team. I'm getting bored of saying it, but we're a team in transition. So it's baby steps. As much as I'd love to see us play Champions League football, it's just small steps, one step at a time, and just see what happens.
I think they've started the draw. Oh no! They're explaining how it works.
Teams from Serbia and drawn in the same group.
So they're talking about teams from certain parts of Europe that will or won't be drawn from the same group, etc. They're trying to explain what the color scheme means, etc. But I'm not listening to it because I'm trying to focus on too many. Can you hear it?
From you? I can hear a mumble. I can't hear the proper. What's
Right.
the name? They're obviously going to draw the Europa League first, by the looks of things.
Oh yes, they are, aren't they?
Because they're looking at the Europa League, all the Europa League teams. So, actually, this is interesting to actually look at these teams, because some of these could potentially drop down.
That's true. Yeah.
Obviously, Roma are in there because they won the Europa Conference last year. You got Man United, Arsenal, Lazio, Olympiacos, Braga. It's testing me crest knowledge here, isn't it? Trying to see who I know. Yeah, there's some good teams in there actually this year. PSV, Monaco, Sociedad, Feyenoord. Some good teams.
It would be a hard test, wouldn't it? Many people are sort of, like I said earlier on, saying it's not a big deal competition to be in. But once we get through the group stage, and I'm confident, and I know I shouldn't necessarily be, but I'm confident we will get through the group stage, and then it really becomes competition proper. Some of the teams that you've just named, will be quite immense.
And I think the way you've got to look at it now is winning these trophies, there's extra incentive as well. Like as we knew last year, if you won the Europa League, then you get a Champions League group stage. Look at Frankfurt. That's straight into the group stages. So if you win that cup, that's there for you, and you can afford to have a little bit of a blip in the season if you go on and win this, because you're going to get a Europa League spot next year, whatever happens. So say we went and won this and we had a bit of an off season, we finished like 9th or 10th. It's not going to matter because you've got that spot sorted out. You're playing European football again, and it is straight in at the group stage as well. There's no playoff. It's so there's extra incentive there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what they're doing Europa League first then? No, they're not. No, they're talking about us. So, there seems to be drawn in pot 1, Villarreal, Basel, Slavia Prague. They're all in there. Let's go back to that the list.
Someone's just said in the chat the Europa League was done earlier.
Okay, that's good.
Mistake. Just because I see the Europa League teams on the screen, so I was just getting a bit confused.
Right. So I'm going to try and do it as we go along, mate, and try and update. You've got to forgive me because I'm not a techie. I'm going to do my best. So here we go. The first ball is coming out. Let's get West Ham out of the way. Istanbul. Okay. Guess this is Group 1, Group A. Yeah. You can't open the ball.
It's a good start.
Hey, you still can't open. You're gonna have to smash it, mate.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah.
Oh, pot 2. West Ham United. Group 2. Is that right?
Yeah. I think I might be a little bit ahead of you.
It looks like you might be. So if you've got them, mate, just tell me them.
Just tell you. All right.
Oh,
Villarreal were in Group 3.
yeah, you probably are ahead of me, but by a few seconds, I'm guessing.
Yeah. AZ Alkmaar Group 4. Or are they?
Yeah, Alkmaar, Group 4. So waiting for Group 5.
So Ghent.
Ghent in 5. Yeah, you're way ahead of me, mate. So I'm relying on you.
I'm watching it on a link through Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's like a BT link that they do through Twitter. Partizan are next out. And Slavia Prague.
One more team from Pot A. And then we start finding out who our first opponents are going to be.
And it's Basel last out.
Right. So I guess they're now going to the next pot, yeah? Pot B.
Yep. A lot of talking during the draws now, though, isn't there?
There is an
Remember when
awful
they
lot,
just used
isn't
to
there?
just throw them in and just get it done and, off your pot. They were doing it with the Carabao Cup draw the other night, and it was like, come on, lads, just get on with it.
There's breaking for you. The deal's been done. Personal terms to be agreed. So it looks like we've got some news there. Paqueta is done, people.
Oof.
Bloody
So
hell,
much money.
mate. Bloody hell.
Means business.
He sure does.
So Fiorentina are in with Basaksehir in that first group.
That's interesting. That'll be an interesting game. And we're about to find out our first opponents.
Yeah, as long as there's none of that weird grouping that can happen.
They don't look happy, the Fiorentina contingent.
So FCSB are in with us. So that massive stadium, the 50,000 seater.
50,000 stadium. So Steaua Bucharest, or formerly Steaua Bucharest.
So Vladimir Smeets are doing the draw. The Israeli team, Hapoel, are in with Villarreal.
Steaua Bucharest are going to be quite a tough opponent, aren't they? They're not going to be a walkover.
Especially away. 50,000. It'll be rocking in there.
It will be, yeah.
Cologne are out next. They're in with...
Alkmaar.
No, they've put them in... Oh, I'll come up in a minute. They've put them in with Partizan.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. Because obviously you can get that weird grouping, can't you? So...
Okay.
Next out is the Cypriot team. I'm not going to try and say it. They've gone in with Alkmaar.
They've gone in with Alkmaar.
Yeah. They're struggling to open the balls.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Super glued them. Mulder are out next. And they're going in with Ghent by the looks of things. Yeah, in with Ghent.
Sorry, I'm not talking a lot, people, but it's quite difficult to try and do it all. And I'm so relieved that Dan's here because he's ahead of me on the on watching it. I seem to have a lag on my. I can see it, but I'm about 10, 15 seconds behind.
Cluj are in with Slavia Prague. Yeah, I know someone in the chat's just said, Dan, stop spoiling it. And Bratislava complete the last group. That round of the draw, they're in the last group.
They're in with Basel.
Yeah.
What I'll try and do, I rarely use Twitter, so I'll try. What's the link for Twitter, mate?
I think I think it's because I follow BT Sport, it comes up.
Right.
So yeah, if you were to go to football on BT Sports, so it's probably their BT Sports. If you follow them, it's on there, mate.
Football on BT Sport. I got it. So they're now on to Nice. Yeah, it's more advanced. It's much better. So I'm up with
me now.
in tandem with you now, mate.
Where are they going?
She'll make life a little bit easier.
There you go. Hearts in the first group, mate.
You see, you're still ahead of me.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason.
Might be my internet connection. My super duper internet that I've got.
So that's two difficult ties for Hearts there. I'm guessing this is going to be us again. And again, he can't open. Doesn't bode well, does it? That's the second ball that.
Is that us? Is that for us? Oh no, skipped us, mate. They've gone in with Alkmaar.
And who's that?
Vaduz, yeah. They've gone in with Alkmaar. I thought we were going to get them then, didn't they? Weren't they one with a really small stadium?
Yeah. It's the one that's got about the capacity of 2,000.
Oh, is that for us? Please say that's for us. Oh, it's not. Bollocks. Shamrock Rovers were out next. They've gone in with Ghent.
They've gone in with Ghent?
Yeah. I'm gutted. That's the one I wanted. Any excuse to go over there.
If I can get Ghent up.
Oh, that's a hard one for us.
Go on.
We got Anderlecht.
Oh.
Trip to Belgium though. Good beer out there.
That's two good trips, to be quite honest with you.
Austria Vienna are out next. They've gone in with Villarreal.
So we've got two tough games so far, mate.
Yeah.
Bucharest and
Nice have
Anderlecht.
gone in with Cologne and Partizan.
That's going to be quite difficult as well.
Do you know what? Someone's just said that he should crush the balls with his monstrous neck, and I've just looked, and he has got the biggest neck I've ever seen. This geezer.
Two big games. Intriguing.
Intriguing.
I'm trying to focus on all of them, but go on, mate.
Sivasspor have gone in with Slavia Prague and Cluj.
Who's that? Sorry,
Sivasspor.
Sivasspor with Slavia Prague.
Yeah, and Cluj. That's it. And Zalgiris have gone in the last group to complete it. There we go. Find out our last opponent. Yeah, they're a couple of hard games there, I think.
Mate, I'm telling you, it's probably the hardest group so far.
Anderlecht away won't be easy.
No, I don't think Steaua Bucharest away will be easy either. Final group, final teams to be drawn out. So who we got to worry about here? Well, I mean,
not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't want to get the last two teams, RFS and Balkany.
I wouldn't mind Djurgården because I've been to Sweden a couple of times and I really like Sweden. I wouldn't mind getting a ticket for that one and going. So RFS are first out and they go in the group. They go in the first group.
That group is now completed.
Why are they having so much trouble with these balls?
That group in total, I think Istanbul and Fiorentina are going to be relatively happy with that, don't you think?
We got Silkeborg. So they're a Scandinavian team, aren't they?
They're Denmark.
Nice.
What an interesting group.
Yeah, it is, and all.
Be
travelling all over Europe with that one, mate. Dnipro are in with Alkmaar.
So no trip to Cyprus for me to watch a game then. Mind you, I'll go anyway, but it would have been nice to get a game in there. God, I keep looking at our group, mate. Go on.
Lech Poznan are in with Villarreal.
Sorry, what team was that?
Poznan. And they're I don't know if that's their manager or their owner, but you don't look too happy.
Villarreal will be happy with that. I think they got, with the greatest of respect to them, I think they got a relatively easy group there in total. I think. Let's finish and then we can talk each group through.
Djurgården have gone in with Ghent.
That's one that you wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, but to be fair, I'll take Silkeborg, mate. If we can get to Denmark, that'd be decent. A few people I know that went out there for the Viborg game yesterday said that people were lovely, like really welcoming, and it was a really good away day. Who was that? Balkani have gone in with. I didn't see which group they went in. They've gone in with Slavia Prague. So there's only 2 teams now left.
Are they doing the draw for the games as well, or is that coming up later?
I don't know, mate. Punic have gone in the last group. So who was in that?
What team is that? Sorry, mate.
Is it Punic? Is that how you say it? They've gone in with Basel. Yeah, they've gone in with Basel. So there's only 1 team left, and it is FC Slovako. Is it? To complete it. There you go. There's your draw.
Right. So let's get those down so we can.
Fixture dates are done by computer. Saying on here, mate. And yeah, with Sharky, it's a shame we didn't get Shamrock Rovers or Hearts. That would have been quite nice.
Let's stop sharing that. Let's get out of that. So let's bring that in.
Interesting group we've drawn there.
Yeah, I think we've got probably, with the greatest of respect, probably the hardest group of all. I don't know what you think, but
I think Anderlecht is probably the toughest game for us.
Yeah.
You know what? Cologne and Nice probably don't like the look of their group. It could be a tough one. The thing is, in any competition like this, though, banana skins, isn't there? No game's easy. No game's easy, especially when the importance is on beating them to pick up the points and enough points to go through to the knockout. So, but I'd like to think we can get through that group.
I think it's going to be tough. I think I'm just trying to get them loaded so we can go through them again.
Silkeborg's the town next to Viborg.
Yeah. Right. So we know that it's going to be quite a welcome there. We know that after what happened at Viborg, they are very welcoming, and it is going to be interesting. So let's go through these. So Group 1, Istanbul, Fiorentina, Hearts, and RFS. I think, to be honest with you, I think Fiorentina and Istanbul are going to kind of fancy their chances out of that. What do you think for Hearts? Well,
yeah, I think that's tough for Hearts. Yeah, it's tough for Hearts. Like I say, I can't tell you. I couldn't say how good Istanbul are anymore. Mm-hmm. I know they were pretty good a couple of seasons ago because they won the Turkish league, didn't they? But yeah, Fiorentina are usually a pretty solid team, so that might be difficult for Hearts. That.
I'm going to skip our one. We'll come to that at the end. Then we look at Villarreal's group. Hapoel, Austria Vienna, Poznan.
I think Villarreal are loving that.
I think Villarreal are absolutely going to love that without a shadow of a doubt. Then Alkmaar with Limassol, Vaduz and Dnipro. Again, I think that's going to be quite easy for Alkmaar. I don't know what they're like these days, but Limassol, I mean, football in Cyprus is not high level. And given that Limassol will put in pot 2, I think, again, Alkmaar will probably fancy their chances. Group 5, Ghent with Molde, Shamrock Rovers and Jugardins. I think they're going to fancy their chances as well, aren't they?
Second spot in that group's up anyone's for the taking there.
Is anyone really? For the taking? Yeah. And then Group 6, Partizan, Cole, Nice, Slovako. That might be an interesting group, actually. Yeah.
I would imagine Cole and Nice are probably pretty level. And Nice just signed Schmeichel. They've just signed Schmeichel, Pepe, and Ramsey, haven't they? I'm pretty sure Nice have. Yeah, so a few vets in there. There you go. Medical soon. So
it's breaking news, people. We have just signed Paqueta.
He's signed, sealed, delivered, ready for Spurs next week, mate.
And then he'll fail his medical. Anyway, let's move on. Slavia Prague have got Cluj. I think maybe Cluj is maybe the team that they're going to look out for there, if anything.
Yeah, I don't know what Sivasspor are like, but obviously to do well in Turkey, they must have something about them. So
yeah.
And
then lastly, Basel, Bratislava, Zalgiris, Punic.
I think Basel probably take that group, and then second spot's up for grabs.
So let's go to ours. So people are saying in the chat, let's just go and see. Don't sleep on FCSB. Do you mean, Dylan, that they're going to be tough? Andre, tell us. You're an FCSB fan. What are we going to expect? Is that going to be a tough game for us? Do you think we're going to be able to? Do you think you're going to beat us? Let us know. Put comment in the chat. We got Sigore. Good evening, good afternoon to you. Anderlecht, not the same powerhouse in Belgium as they used to be. So are we going by their history and suggesting that maybe it'll be tough? Or do we have to think about what they're like? Well, of course.
I know Anderlecht looked pretty good though, didn't they? Like because I know they've just Company was their manager, weren't he? And he's just gone to Burnley. And Cullen was pretty good when he was playing for Anderlecht, by all accounts, like last season. But obviously, I can't comment on what they're like, this year and what they've really been like. I couldn't really tell you exactly what their form's like or whatever. But
we owe Anderlecht one, don't we?
Yeah.
75 Cup Winners' Cup final, beat us 4-2. They've done well against us in historically. I won't lie to you. I'm a little bit. Daniela's calling me the realist. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. And the thing I'm really excited about, because where are they? Let's get their details up. So Silkeborg. So Silkeborg has got a capacity of 10,000, seated 6,000. Last season they were third in their league, so it's going to be difficult getting a ticket for that one, but I think that, with the greatest of respect to Silkeborg, I don't mean it in a demeaning way, but I think we should be confident of a result there, but getting a ticket for that is going to be difficult. Let's find the other teams that we're playing. Anderlecht, there it is. So Anderlecht, capacity of 22.5, still not massive capacity, but should be a little bit easier to get a ticket.
I'd like to go to that one.
Sorry, mate.
I'd quite like to go to that one, though.
I'd quite like to go to that, even if we actually don't get a ticket. Just go to Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium's nice. Like, I've been to Belgium a couple of times. It's nice.
Yeah, and so again, people are saying they're not the force that they used to be. So let's see. They didn't get any honours last season, so I'm guessing that they finished high enough in their league in order to qualify. They didn't win the league. Did they win the league? They didn't win the league last season, did they?
Couldn't tell you, mate.
Someone needs to tell me if I'm wrong there, but I don't think they did. There we go. Andre, FCSB and West Ham is going to be 1-1 or 0-0.
Club Brugge won it last year,
that, mate. So let's go to them as well. Let's find them. Here we go. 55,500 seater capacity, and it looks beautiful. It's an absolutely stunning stadium. They were league runners-up last season. Coefficient of 17,500. I think that's going to be a good. I think that's going to be a good game. And thank you, Andre. You're saying that it should be a draw. Say again, mate.
I wonder what the allocation will be on that one.
Well, your allocation, what is it usually? Is it 10%? It's usually 10%. So it should be 4,000 or 5,000.
Okay.
So see you in Bucharest. Thank you, Pile. If you see us, come and say hello, and we'll have a drink together. Christian, I think we can draw a match with you. What team do you support, Christian? I haven't seen what team you support, so let me know. Good afternoon, Zizi. Too many Romanians in Stratford. It'll be insane atmosphere. Jason, sorry, 76. I said 75, didn't I? Remember the 76 final? It was the 75-76 season. Andre, by the way, you're going to love the stadium and it will be full. Yes, mate. It looks wonderful. I won't lie. It does look amazing. Yes. Ionel. West Ham against FCSB. Let's get that group back up again so you can see who we've got. So we're playing FCSB, Anderlecht, and Silkeborg. So a nice trip to Belgium, a nice return to Denmark, an interesting trip to Romania. Going to be good. It's going to be, the European tour is on. Are you getting excited? What's your take on it now that we've seen who we're playing?
Oh, I was buzzing before, mate. I didn't get to do any of the European games, did I, last year? Didn't have my passport for the group stage, and then then when we got to the knockouts, I couldn't get a ticket, so I just kind of knocked it on the head. But I said to you at the end of last season, didn't I? Even if I don't get a ticket, if enough of us are going, I think I'll go this year just to kind of soak it up. So yeah, I think they're good trips, and aren't they? Like Denmark. So what was that? Denmark, Romania, and Belgium. So
Denmark, Romania, and Belgium. Two very short journeys. Well, even Romania's not that far to get to either.
Yeah,
it's only a couple of hours on the plane. So Ionel, look out for us, Ionel, in Romania. Let's say hello. Rekut, what are the groups? Let me go through the groups for you again. So we'll start with Group 1, Istanbul, Fiorentina, Hearts, and RFS. Group 2, West Ham, FCSB, Anderlecht, and Silkeborg. Group 3, Villarreal, Hapoel, Austria Vienna, and Poznan. Group 4, AZ Alkmaar, Apollon Limassol, Vaduz, and Dnipro. Group 5 is Ghent, Mold, Shamrock Rovers, and I don't understand why I can't. Djurgardens.
Yeah, I think that's how it's said. I think it's how it's said. Don't quote me on it.
Group 6 is Partizan, Kol, Nice, and Slovako. And Group 7, Slavia Prague, Cluj, Sivasspor, and Balkani. And the final group, Basel, Slova Bratislava, Zalgiris, and Punic. It's exciting, but it's going to be hard. So we're looking forward to it. Let's do a few more comments. Apache, maybe Moes will get another player in to help this through. Tougher than expected group. See, this is it. What I asked you earlier, is it tougher, or is it that we're going by historical names, Steaua Bucharest, Anderlecht, etc.? People are suggesting it shouldn't be a problem for us. So I guess we'll find out. Romanians are a good bunch. Hope to see you out there. Absolutely. George, a few years ago when Romania played England under 21s in Molineux, there were more Romanians in the stand than English. Rakut, we eat you. Oh, I don't want to eat you. But we'll have a beer together. Andre, if you want to come to FCSB, better buy the tickets from now or no tickets for you guys. Well, every team gets given an away allocation. So we will have that regardless. But good to see they're going to be up for it, it looks like. Then why not? Milad, West Ham is really great. Thank you very much. Damien. JM for me, hands the one for the tough groups with Vanaken. We were told it will be either or. Do you want to be greedy and get Vanaken as well as? What do you think, mate?
I can't see it happening now.
Not now.
Not after
now.
dropping 50 million on someone. I just can't see it happening.
Can you
I
believe
re-
we've just spent 173 million?
I can't, mate. But I think if there are any more through the door, there'll be loan signings now. I can't see any more money spent. Because you've got to think, if you spend another like 20 odd million, then you're up to 200 spent.
Nearly 200
That's how you
million.
got to look at it. So I just can't
Yeah.
see that happening. Can't see it happening.
I
We'll have
didn't see us
FFP
going
on
over
that. We'll
100.
have FFP knocking on the door, won't we? That's all we need.
I know Nottingham Forest will if we don't.
Well, they're already investigating Arsenal, aren't they? Arsenal's on their hit list already.
Oh,
so.
really? Well, haven't Nottingham Forest, they've signed 18 players.
19.
19
They're on the
players.
verge of signing Aurier, and he'll be their 19th signing.
Wow. Adam, we should get through this easily. Strong team. Nobody will want us after last year. Good point. Yanel, did you watch FSB won the Champions League in 8? Great respect to you, but that was in 1986. What do you like now? Because I'll be interested. Trini, where are the people seeing the Paqueta deal? Apparently, it's all over YouTube. It's all over Sky Sports, apparently, mate. So let's see. Dabs. FCSB stadiums where West Ham fans were promised our stadium would look like. I don't think we were ever promised that, mate, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Andre, do you guys think West Ham have a chance to get Champions League football next season? Tough, to be honest with you, Andre. What do you think, mate?
I think we're in transition, aren't we, at the minute? Yeah. So I think, if we were to finish top 7 again, I'd think that'd be incredible, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
Andre, the other Andre, you guys should buy tickets at FSCB. It could be another Barcelona-Frankfurt situation. Yeah, no, we're quite strict on the way we manage our tickets at our stadium. I don't know, and we will get an away allocation. So, I think Frankfurt fans tried to do that last season, Andre, where they tried to get to, and there were a few of them in the West Ham end, but not as many as people predicted. Ziapple. Good afternoon to you. Correct spelling for Estoya. Oh, yes. Thank you for my pronunciation is absolutely rubbish. So, thoughts on signing Januzaj? I hope not. Thoughts on signing Januzaj, mate?
He's just going to come in as a right midfield backup, isn't he, for Bowen? Because from what I was reading, we don't really have a natural kind of right-sided player to kind of cover him. But if it's a free transfer and it don't work out, then you sell him, you make money. So I don't know.
Adrian, 2 West Ham players worth more than FCSB club, but we have very talented young players and great supporters, so it's going to be interesting. Lee, good game. We don't do well against Romanian clubs historically. Darren, we will have fans in the home end for sure. We always find a way. We do. That's true. Maroon, a lot of Romanian fans in here. Dabs, it's a domino effect. We don't sign Emerson or Cornet, we wouldn't have got Paqueta. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it helps. I do think it helps. I do think players look from the outside in and they go, well, they've signed him. They're good players. I do think it helps. You got to remember, Emerson and Cornet both played with him at Lyon, didn't they?
Good point.
I know Emerson did for sure last year on loan.
Yeah,
Cornet might have done the year before.
Yeah,
before he went to Burnley. So
yeah. Andre, a fact we can all agree: West Ham is better than Man United this season. Let's hope so. Hi, Zamon. Good afternoon. Can we see a swap deal emerging with a continued interest in Broja and Gallagher? There might be 1 or 2 loans coming in, mate. But I think that will then beg the question: are we about to sell anyone? Because there's a lot of rumor about selling Lanzini and Benrahma.
But could you potentially see? I know we've had this very kind of like hard stance on Declan Rice, but if he wanted Broja and Gallagher enough with a little sweetener, do you think he might take it for Declan Rice?
The prof here, be seeing you in Bucharest. Bring your PTSD. PTSD. What's PTSD?
It's post-traumatic stress disorder, isn't it?
Adrian, Stefan, how do you think the group is going to finish? I won't lie to you. I do not know. I think that's the hardest, probably.
I think we'll top it
in the competition.
I think we'll top it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's that. There you go. Darren, I just need to tell my missus now that we're off to Romania on a Thursday night. That should be fun. Yeah, my missus has heard it in the background, so she's already knows. Matej, you need to be fast with tickets at FSB. So it will be full because a lot of Romanians will come and will fill easily. Totally understand. And I don't disagree that you will fill the stadium, but we do get an allocation. We will have an away allocation. So those will be for West Ham. 3,000 or 4,000 tickets will be for West Ham fans. You guys want to? Yes, please tell us, what are they like? If you actually, mate, if you message me on westhamvoice@gmail.com, message me there, and then we can chat, and then maybe you can come on and tell us all about FCSB. It'd be fantastic to have an away fan to come and tell us about their team. And rather than me doing the research, you know more about it. So Andre, westhamvoice@gmail.com, message me, and anyone else that's a fan of one of the teams that we've got, message me, and we can have a conversation. And absolutely, why not? We can have a chat and bring you on the show. I'm going to put it up on the screen. There you go. westhamvoice@gmail.com. If you message me there, we can bring you on the show. And by all means, it'd be a pleasure to have you on to talk about your team. It would save me a hell of a lot of research, because it's boring doing all that research. Who else we got? Lee, lost twice to FC Astra. That is true, but that was a long time ago, and we were a very different situation then. We also lost 2 legs to Stade Bucharest in the late 90s in the old UEFA Cup under Harry. Omen's not good. But again, no disrespect to the team now, but people are suggesting they're not the same team as they were. So let's see. Caps fan, RFS is massive. Thank you for joining, mate. Andre, I'll send them out. Thank you very much. You do that. Watch the show first. Oh, and by the way, hit the like. I hate doing this. Hit the like and subscribe button and all that, and you can watch me again. Matej, what do you know about FCSB before this group? Only their history, Matej, in all honesty, rather than their recent. So like I said, if you want to tell me all about your team, you'd be more than welcome. The Prefer, we've got a pretty poor defense now, but young, quick strikers and a pretty offensive, focused play style. And we've got the better keeper out of the 2 clubs. Well, it won't be Fabianski playing. It'll be Areola playing. And we think he's better than Fabianski. Adrian, is Declan Rice still at... Yes, and he will be. Andre, please tell Declan Rice to call me. Mate, thank you so much. You really actually saved my bacon for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, mate. No problem. I'm always here to help. You know that.
It's a pleasure to have you on always. Oh, we're doing a late tonight. If you fancy that as well, put the kid to bed and come on.
Yeah, I might actually. Yeah,
okay.
Because Kate will probably be a bed early. She's out early tomorrow.
Well, let's do that. So if anyone watching, if you know the late show, it'll be on tonight, quite late, after 10:30. And I think Nigel's coming on as well. I'm going to have to remind him because he's the one that told me to put the show on. So thank you all for watching. Thank you, Matt, Dan. Much appreciated.
No problem, mate.
Anyone that's new to the channel, hit the subscribe and bell notification and all that sort of stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you all very soon. And come on, West Ham.